You're really letting me go for giving water to a dog? That's how it ends? I still remember standing there, apron on, hand frozen midair, holding the empty bowl I'd just used for that German shepherd trembling out front, tied up so tight I could see the leash biting into his fur. My voice cracked at Callum, help there was just so much disbelief pouring out. Like, how is this even happening? Rick, my manager, didn't even look up from his clipboard, just muttered, "This is a business, not a pet shelter. We don't serve animals, and we don't break company policy." You walked out mid-shift. That's abandonment. His voice was dry robotic, almost like he'd been practicing it in front of a mirror for years, just waiting for someone like me to make it this easy for him. The cafe went dead silent. Customers staring, the staff behind the counter stiff like they were waiting for the next shoe to drop. No one moved, not even to refill a coffee. 10 minutes earlier, I was just doing what I always did, keeping an eye on everything. That's when I saw him out there. This frail man in a battered wheelchair, ribbons on his old ball cap, hands shaking a little as he tried to comfort his dog. The dog, Max, was panting hard in the sun, tied to a parking meter, for too hot to touch, eyes half closed from the heat. The man kept glancing at the door, just waiting for Simeone to notice. That's when I figured, forget policy, sometimes you just got to do the right thing, you know? So I grabbed a bowl, filled it at the sink, took it out, and set it in front of Max just like that. Apparently, that made me public enemy number one. So I stood there, heart thumping, fighting back a lump in my throat, trying to hold on to whatever was left of my dignity. "I'll gather my things," I said as soft as I could manage. 2 years working the recovering, every shift, no one wanted, smiling through rude customers, never once calling out sick, and now I was being tossed out for being a decent human. Rick didn't care. "Just leave the apron," he snapped. "Don't come back." That was it. But as I turned to walk out, something started happening, one of those things you just know you'll remember forever. First, it was a low murmur, like the room was waking up from a dream, heads turning toward the windows because something unusual was going on outside. The bell over the door jingled, a weird offbeat rhythm, and suddenly boots. 3 men stepped in, full marine dress blues, metals flashing. Then 3 more. Then 6 more. 12 in total, straight-backed, eyes forward, uniforms so crisp you could cut yourself on the creases. Rick stiffened, eyes wide, hands instinctively clutching that clipboard like it might save him. Can I help you, gentlemen?" he managed, but his voice was shaking. The tallest Marine in front must be been the ranking officer. Turner, according to his nameplate, scanned the cafe like he was sizing up a battlefield. His voice, when he finally spoke, was smooth, cold, each word landing with the weight of a stone. "We're here for Sarah Langston." The whole cafe just stopped. Me, I felt my knees get weak, not sure if I should be terrified or grateful. "Yes," I stammered. Turner nodded once. "Is it true you were fired for helping a service dog in distress, for assisting one of our wounded brothers?" I swallowed, felt everyone watching me, judging. "Yes, sir. I didn't mean to cause any trouble." Turner shook his head. "You didn't. They did." And then he turned to Rick, who looked about ready to faint, and said, calm as a man giving a weather report, "That veteran you ignored? That's Sergeant Daniel Morse. 2 combat tours, Bronze Star. That dog, Max, saved him from an IED blast in Kandahar. He wouldn't be here without him." Rick opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Just nothing. Turner didn't shout, didn't make a scene, he didn't have to. Every word hung in the air like a verdict. Sarah offered them humanity. Your response was to strip her of employment. No apology will match the arrogance of firing someone for being decent. A customer stood up, slow, clapping once, then another, until the whole place was on its feet, applauding not just for me, but for what the moment meant, the kind of courage it takes to do something small and kind when everyone else just looks away. Turner reached into his jacket, pulled out a folded letter, handed it to me. "This is a letter of recommendation, signed by our base commander. If you want a job, you'll have it by the end of the day. If you want a future with us, we'll make it happen." My hands shook so bad I could barely take it, eyes burning, not from sadness, but from this sudden, overwhelming sense that for once I hadn't been crazy to care. Rick tried to step forward, maybe to save face, maybe to explain, But Turner just held up one hand and even looked at a man and said, "No apology will fix what you did here." Another Marine opened the door. Turner turned to me again. "You don't walk out alone today. You walk out with us." I took off my apron slow, set it down, and walked toward them, customers parting from me like I was royalty or something, hands reaching out, some just nodding, some with tears in their eyes, like they just remembered what it feels like to see something right happen in real time. We stepped out into the sun together, those Marines flanking me, not saying much, just letting the world see what respect really looks like. I looked back, saw Rick standing there in the middle of that silent cafe, all his power gone, surrounded by people who now knew exactly who he was and who he wasn't. Let me tell you, when the world punishes kindness, it's on good people, good warriors, good neighbors, folks who remember what it means to look out for each Otherdo. Stand up, say no, remind everyone what honor looks like. Maybe that's all it takes, some Tamiza bowl of water, a little compassion, and the guts to stand your ground, even when it costs you everything. So now, I want to hear from you reading this. When was the last time you saw someone take a risk to do the right thing? What would you have done if you were in that cafe? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. And if this story meant something to you, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's keep these conversations going because the world could always use a little more kindness, don't you think?